Think governments run the world? Think again. In reality, what you see is a puppet show, with financial corporations pulling the actual strings behind the curtains. In today's video, we uncover how these 5 financial giants have more influence over your money, your job, and even your future than you realize. All from the shadows. Starting with number 1, BlackRock. BlackRock Inc. is the world's largest asset management firm and consequently a key decision-maker in the global financial system. Headquartered in New York City, BlackRock started out small as a risk management and fixed-income institutional asset manager, but over the last few decades, it's evolved into a multinational financial giant with over $11.6 trillion in assets under management. BlackRock's influence spans virtually all major industries, including technology. We're talking about holdings in companies like Alphabet, Apple, and Microsoft. Healthcare, with assets in Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, Abbott Laboratories, and United Healthcare. Finance, with ties to major corporations like JPMorgan and Goldman Sachs. Energy, think Shell, ExxonMobil, and even renewable energy. Consumer goods, from Procter & Gamble to Coca-Cola. Infrastructure, real estate, and utilities. In fact, BlackRock holds shares in almost every company that is listed in major stock indexes. As you can imagine, BlackRock's influence is immense. Apart from influencing policies in hundreds of companies and consequently driving the markets, it serves as a major policy consultant for central banks and governments, especially in times of economic crisis. Case in point, the 2008 crisis and the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic. Almost as influential as BlackRock is number 2, the Vanguard Group. The Vanguard Group, Inc. is an investment management company but with roots in Malvern, Pennsylvania. It is perhaps best known for pioneering the index funds and low-cost investing. Now, Vanguard isn't publicly traded, which has helped it keep a low profile. However, behind the secrecy, the company manages some of the largest index funds and mutual funds in the world, owning stakes in almost every Fortune 500 company. As of 2025, Vanguard's assets under management stand at a staggering $10 trillion, spread across 215 funds in the U.S. and 225 outside the U.S. This makes Vanguard the second largest asset manager in the world. With such massive index market investing power, Vanguard's buying and holding behavior dictates market prices and capital flows, which in turn affects tens of millions of retail investors. Next up, we have number 3, JPMorgan Chase & Company. JPMorgan Chase & Co. stands tall as the largest bank in the United States by both assets, with $4.3 trillion in holdings and revenue, with its 2024 revenue estimate standing at a whopping $177 billion. JPMorgan Chase operates across 4 major areas: consumer and community banking, commercial banking, corporate and investment banking, and asset and wealth management. As an investor, lender, and financial advisor, JPMorgan Chase reach extends across virtually every major sector, including tech, media, energy, healthcare, manufacturing, consumer goods, utilities, infrastructure, and real estate. But what really makes JPMorgan Chase the most powerful bank in not just the US but the entire planet is its controversial partnership with the US government. JPMorgan Chase is not only the primary dealer in U.S. Treasury securities, the bank also provides financial services to federal agencies, including the military. And it is a critical partner in maintaining global financial stability, with the U.S. government often relying on it to bail out the economy in times of crisis. Not forgetting, JPMorgan Chase is a top spender on lobbying in Washington, influencing much of the financial legislation and regulations we have today. Hot on the heels of JPMorgan Chase's number 4, Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs Group, Inc. is a multinational investment bank and financial services company, and like JPMorgan Chase, Goldman has deep ties to hundreds of corporations, capital markets, and of course, the government. In fact, Goldman has the deepest ties to the U.S. government of any private firm, with many high-ranking executives switching over to key government positions. The best examples include Henry Paulson, who went from being Goldman CEO to U.S. Treasury Secretary in 2006, and Gary Cohn, who switched from Goldman COO to the National Economic Council Director in Trump's government. Like JPMorgan Chase, Goldman Sachs spends heavily on regulatory lobbying, shaping debates centered around financial regulation, monetary policy, and tax laws. The company has also had its fair share of controversies, including the MDB scandal, where it had to pay over $2.9 billion in global fines, and the 2008 financial crisis, where it was accused of betting against mortgage-backed securities it sold. Goldman ended up paying over $5 billion in settlements. Despite this, Goldman Sachs is still extremely powerful, with $3.2 trillion in assets under management and deep ties to the U.S. Treasury. Last on the list is number 5, Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway, whose popularity can be credited to its iconic billionaire chairman and CEO, Warren Buffett, is a multinational conglomerate holding company headquartered in Omaha, Nebraska. But unlike traditional investment banks or asset managers, Berkshire Hathaway directly owns over 60 businesses in insurance, energy, railroads, retail and consumer goods, manufacturing, construction, and utilities. It owns billion in equity stakes in several public companies, most notably in Apple, Coca-Cola, Bank of America, Chevron, and American Express. These 5 account for 70.46% of the company's listed equity portfolio. It is Berkshire Hathaway's major shareholding in regulated industries like banking, energy, and insurance that makes it such a powerful global influence. As of 2025, Berkshire Hathaway's total assets amounted to more than $1.1 trillion. What this means. With the kind of power each of these financial giants wield, in addition to their influence in almost all major industries and governments, imagine the global influence they have combined. These companies have power over how much you pay for food, housing, gas, healthcare, insurance, credit, everything. This is in addition to dictating how much you earn from your job and even how well your investments perform. All while remaining faceless and in the shadows. This is real power. So, which one surprised you the most? Comment below.